Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Commissioners' meeting for Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Please join us as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have the roll call, please.
Commissioner Leggett,
Here.
Commissioner Workner,
Here.
Commissioner Madransky.
Here. Certification by the clerk.
I, April D. Maley, Assistant Clerk 1, certify that the entire recording of the proceedings at the prior meetings are captured completely and accurately in the electronic record and are available at the office.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to approve the summary and recording minutes from prior meetings.
Move to approve. Second it.
Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Entertain a motion to approve the travel request.
Moved.
I'll second. First and second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Need a motion to pay the bills, total $16,597.66.
Move to pay. Second.
Any discussion on the bills? No. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Get a motion to pay the bills without prior authorization, please.
Move to approve.
Second. First and second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to advise that Merle Long, Carroll County Dog Warden, filed a report for the week of March 15th to March 21st, 2026, showing 2 dogs impounded, 1 adopted out, 1 redeemed, 0 euthanized, 0 citations for no license, and 4 citations for running at large. Okay, I have an amendment here. This is an amendment letter from Dynegy, is adding the Agricultural Society in the old ODOT building, which is now owned by the county, to the Energy Consortium. With that in mind, entertain a motion to approve the amendment to the energy service agreement with Dynegy Energy Services East LLC.
Move to approve. I'll second it.
And first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Before us, we have Merle Long, Carroll County Dog Warden, here to talk about Avery's Law. Warden, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. Okay, as everyone knows or has heard, House Bill 247 was signed by the governor back in December 19th of 2025, went into effect March 20th of 2026. It basically redefined ORC 955, which covers dog laws, and redefined what constitutes a nuisance, dangerous, or vicious dog. Also imposes criminal penalties on dog owners who negligently fail to keep their dog from committing without provocation a nuisance act, a dangerous dog act, or a vicious act, including circumstances in which the dog has not previously engaged in such an act. It increases the penalties and the fines for anyone who is charged in such an act. There's a lot more to it, but no time is limited, so that was the highlight.
Anybody have any questions?
So what you see is the outcome of the new law. How's that going to change your operation?
Depending on the seriousness of the dog attack, say for instance, a dog does bite somebody or attacks somebody, and we deem the dog is not, or the community is not safe with that dog there. The law changes that I can actually seize the dog and hold it while the proceedings to determine if the dog is dangerous, vicious, or nuisance is in effect. I either have to return the dog to the owner if the court disagrees, or the court orders the disposition of the dog now they can say the dog can be humanely destroyed by a licensed veterinarian.
So the big takeout is you now have the ability to immediately detain the animal in judicial proceedings.
Correct.
Carl, this was a law that was voted in place by the state legislature and then signed into governor back in December.
Yes,
And now it's had its wait period and it's become effective as of
March 20th.
March 20th. Okay, so that's why you're bringing it to our attention.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Anything else for Merle? This is not an action we need to vote on,
No.
state legislature, so you're just providing an update. Is there anything else from you, Merle? For today?
That's, if I do have to out, the dog's gonna put a strain on our facility.
Sure. All right,
So does, just one last question.
sure.
You still have discretion in that matter? To detain or not to detain?
No, I do not. If the community feels that they're not safe around that dog, then I have to seize it to keep the community safe.
All right,
I have to house it for the 10-day period while the process or the hearing goes with municipal court. So I have 10 days to file a dangerous dog or vicious dog designation. The court has 10 days to hold the hearing, and the owner of the dog has during that time frame to appeal it. Whether if he feels that the dog was wrongfully accused or wrongfully taken, he has to provide enough evidence to support that.
all
If
right.
the dog actually hurt somebody seriously, I don't think any court's gonna say you can have a dog back.
So if the dog is adjudicated, is there a chance of getting restitution from the owner for the expenses?
No. If the dog is found not guilty and returned to the owner,
But if the dog is adjudicated as a vicious animal, do you have the ability to take and recoup
oh,
the?
yes.
All right.
Who is a determining factor if the dog should be seized that day? Because you said the community, if the community doesn't feel they're safe, does that mean an individual resident can say, I don't feel safe, so you have to take somebody else's dog? Or you as the expert
He is
make that
the dog
determination?
Make that determination.
Okay, I want to make sure we clarify that.
So there is some discretion on your part. You have the discretion to make that determination. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else, Merle?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. At this time, we have Sonia Turovich, Transit Director, here to speak about a grant award for fiscal year 2027.
Yes, Transit was awarded for operating assistance federal share, $378,400, which was an increase from this year of $54,944. State share was $166,042, and it was a decrease of $5,135. And then our local share is $212,358, which is an increase of $60,079. For a total project cost of $756,800. And then our capitalized maintenance federal share award was $73,000. And that was an increase of $3,518. And our local share was $18,250, which was an increase of $880. So the total project cost for capitalized maintenance was $91,250.
So it sounds like everything's looking better
It's coming.
to come.
Do we need to have any action for your grant?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to,
Is there any questions or comments for Sonia? Hearing none, thank you for the report.
Welcome.
I think we've got a visitor for Tom Cos.
Morning.
You have the floor, sir.
As you three are aware, and among several people, there's been a lot of discussion on the data centers and the pros and cons that are floating around out there and things. I just had a couple questions. With the proposed new energy plant going off Cobble Road, there has been no data center proposed with that, has there?
There is not.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was just gonna be a power generating thing. And I assume, since the village is not going to supply water for that, that would possibly coming through from Malvern or Minerva,
It's-
potentially.
So the company that is proposing the power plant development is Advanced Power. It's the same company that brought us their first power plant.
Right,
They had very brief negotiations with Carrollton. They decided that it was not in Carrollton's best interest to supply the water. So I know they reached out to the village of Malvern to get water, as well as a place called Buckeye Water out of, I believe it's Slaneville or somewhere down by the Ohio River. I believe they are further along in negotiations with Buckeye Water to supply the water that they need for the power plant.
okay, now, question. If the Buckeye Water, then that would not fall under the county water and sewer district then, whereas if it was coming from Malvern, it would, correct?
No, the county's water and sewer and Malvern water are two separate
Two separate, okay,
entities.
Okay.
Yeah.
so.
Actually, the county doesn't have water. We just have a
Just the sewer
sewer.
district.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have remembered that. And with that, there's a lot of talk about non-disclosure agreements and things like that. I'm aware that when companies are in talks with commissioners through economic development, sometimes it is in their best interest for, to have a non-disclosure agreement be signed until everybody's ready to come forward. There is nothing let me rephrase this. There's nothing right now that if that would happen, it would prohibit the commissioners or economic development from signing an NDA, is there? I know there's some legislation that they're talking about in Columbus about possibly prohibit NDAs and things like that.
I've never signed an NDA. I didn't know that we were allowed to sign an NDA.
Okay.
Economic development is an extension of the commissioner's office,
Right.
and they cannot sign an NDA.
Okay,
If they sign an NDA, then that's not going to fly. And then, as far as the commissioners are concerned, we have a vehicle that allows us to enter into confidential conversations, and that is the ability right here within this meeting to go into executive session. And then whatever takes place in the executive session is that conversations aren't disclosed, but the executive session is very specific of what you can enter into an executive session for. And then when we enter into an executive session, we have to state exactly the purpose for the executive session.
okay, thank you. The other question that I had. Are data centers, as the state put regulations in for data centers, much like they did for power generating plants over a certain usage, or like in power plants, if they're going to produce over, was it 25 megawatts or something, then the commissioners have a say on siting, and then it goes to the Ohio Power Siting Commission. Is there anything like that for data centers? Because there's small ones There's large ones. So is there a cutoff line in there for, say, like, Bob, you wanted to open up a small data center on your own? You would use maybe 10 gigs of power? Is there anything like that?
I can't speak on what the regulations of the state are. That would have to be a question directed to state.
Okay,
As far as we go, we don't have any data centers on any of our properties. We don't have an intention to put any on our property. We don't own enough property for a data center from what I understand. I think they gobble up a whole lot of property. But yeah, I think that would be a question better directed towards
to the state.
the state, since they would,
Okay,
I'm sure there is some sort of regulations out there, because the state likes to have regulations on everything. There's the power plant, as you know, is heavily regulated, goes to the Ohio Power Siting Board. They get permitted, they have air permits, and they have water permits, and all the different entities, environmental concerns that are shared there. Yeah, as far as, we don't have anything in place of the size of a data center.
okay, I assume that. The reason I was asking a lot of these questions is, you know, hopefully maybe the newspaper and people that are watching on the internet would pick up on some of this information. Everybody believes the commissioners, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people believe commissioners have sole power to say, yeah, we're gonna put a data center here, and I know from my experience, it doesn't work that way.
So to expand on Chris's comments some,
Pardon?
I guess we really don't know how much ground is needed for a data center, and given the different sizes of the data centers, I don't know what the requirements are for their footprints. And I think it's safe to say, from my perspective, we just haven't entered into any negotiations that would give us a clue as to what it is they need or what they want. So I don't, at this point in time, we really can't. As you said, there's data centers that are different sizes, I'm sure.
I participated in the Farm Bureau webinar last week about data centers. And they had said in their webinar that there's currently 217 data centers in the state of Ohio. I didn't know there was that many, but apparently there are already 217 established. And they listed 3 or 4 different proposed bills that the state legislature is considering. One, the biggest one that is, I see will be passed first, is a study of the dangers or the pros or the cons at the state level to determine how they want to move forward. But I think there was one proposed about size. I just don't remember off the top of my head.
So I think another thing that I've been reading online that I think needs to be clarified is that property owners have the ability to manage their property in Carroll County as they see fit. And so there's been questions about zoning. And I think what most people fail to realize is if there is an area of the county in which the residents feel strongly about zoning, then the township trustees of that area that concern falls in have the ability to take up zoning as a at the township level.
Well, that was gonna be my next point, you know, it's probably 25, maybe 30 years ago now, when we tried to get some basic minimal zoning for the county, and it got shot down. There was a good number of people for it at that time, but people don't realize without any zoning, they can do pretty much whatever you want. I mean, as you pointed out, people can sell their land for whatever. I mean, we've seen with the gas rigs and the oil rigs, people that have been fortunate enough to get one on their property. Some of the neighbors aren't too happy about it, but you know, it's you can do with your property what you want. And that's fine and dandy, that's the way it should be. But if
And
there's zoning, that would offer some minimal protection. I mean, you couldn't just drop a commercial entity in an agriculturally zoned area or a residential area, without having the zoning changed.
I like to think of it this way, as a property owner, the owner of that property has the ability to manage the property
Correct.
as they see fit. In the absence of zoning. And that if there was something came up where a preponderance of the residents in that area felt strongly about it, then that could originate right at the township
It's a
level.
township level, yes, correct.
And that's the part that I want to make sure that the public's aware of, is the zoning can be regulated in a specific area of the county if those individuals within that footprint feel strongly enough about it to push for the zoning.
Because there are several counties in the state of Ohio that do not have county zoning, but they do have township zoning, various townships within that county. Say like Center Township was getting a lot of pressure for industrial and people didn't want it. They could zone in that and kind of keep that at bay and stuff. The other thing and I've pointed out to people, data centers is fine and dandy, on that, are heavily reliant now on the internet and with the artificial intelligence boom and everything. But they have to realize these places are not going to go in without the infrastructure to support them. The water lines, the sewer lines, the treatment areas and things like that. That in some ways that's a benefit to Carroll County, and we don't have a lot of sewer and that out throughout the county, but then also it's a detriment. So, depending on which side of the fence you're on, it's either a blessing or a curse on that. So, I mean, if somebody wanted to go buy the ground just north of Drug Mart, where Walmart was proposed at one time, and wanted to put a data center in there, I mean, water and sewers right there, if the village agrees to hook onto it, and vice versa, So, I mean, it's more than just the company just gonna come in and drop this monster thing down there. They're not gonna do it if they don't have the facilities and the roadways and all that to uphold it. It doesn't make sense. They're gonna look for some place where that's relatively easy. And I think a lot of our constituents out there don't quite realize that. There's more than just building a building. You gotta have ways to service it.
So flip the coin. When I say flip the coin, let's say that we wanted data centers with open arms. Now you got an infrastructure problem that needs to be met. There's all different kinds of hoops that would have to be jumped through to get them to settle.
Right.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, so I hope, I mean, like I said, my main reason to bring this there is, there's a lot of rumor and innuendo and everything flying around out there. I thought maybe if we just had a question and answer, I posed some of the questions that I'm seeing. So I know some people at work and do not have the ability to come to the commissioners meeting to talk to you gentlemen directly. Which is nice being semi-retired. I got some time to do that.
Well, I think what's probably fueling a lot of the speculation is data centers need a lot of power. And we've
Right.
got a new power plant expansion. And I think that's fueling a lot of the speculation. Because first, before their data center could ever even think about coming to an area, there's got to be enough power to supply to run it.
Yeah. So like you said, the infrastructure is not here. And if one would come to the county, I would expect it to be around Carrollton or Malvern, Minerva, where it's easy to get a lot of that. And then they may get the power, but if they don't have the water for cooling and things, then it's a moot point.
At this point, it's all speculation
Exactly.
because there's not enough power yet to run a data center.
Not enough water either. So, okay, that was my sole purpose here.
Well, thank you for your visit.
Pardon?
Thank you for your visit.
Oh, thank you.
Do we have a clerk's report today?
I do. I have one thing. I would just like to remind viewers that the Carroll County General Health District is still looking for volunteers to help with the monthly pop-up food pantry. The pop-up food pantry is held on the first Wednesday of each month from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Church of Christ located at 353 Moody Avenue, Carrollton, Ohio. Those who are interested can scan the QR code on the flyer that has been shared to the Commissioner's Facebook page or use the link that is on the post as well. For any questions, viewers can call 330-627-4866, extension 155. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments for the clerk's report? Hearing none. Commissioner Leggett.
The only thing I'll give you two updates on is, the parking lot over the annex in the back. The maintenance is gonna put down the parking pads this week. Other than that, I think the open house went very, very well. I don't know if you think we had a couple hundred people came through, you think? So,
More than I thought there would be.
yeah, me too. I guess we did need all those cookies.
It was some free cookies.
It's free cookies. That's all I got.
All right. Commissioner Workman.
So had a phone conference with our MEA director. And it looks like they should be able to invest the annex building by the end of this week with Dustin in there. And then by the following week should have the operations fully in the annex.
The only thing I would say is I've got a meeting with Omega tomorrow in New Philadelphia. And we're going to tour, part of the meeting, we're going to tour their new headquarters. Omega's relocating out of Guernsey County, Cambridge to New Philadelphia. One county closer to us.
So the only other thing that I would share, Mr. President, would be I've been asked to give an update on the 30 project, in particular, the status of the connector. And the folks I'll be speaking with this evening at 5:30 at the Malvern Rotary.
All right. And there's nothing else. I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion